We are thriving in 2025, baby. We are live. What up? Peace. This your man in the West. No Snero. Noise over silence. No one son. No one similar. Now on stage. North over South. Matt, Matthew. Those are the few of the things that I respond to positively. Thank you for joining us live. You could be anywhere in the world, but you clicked on this video. Shout out to you if you're part of the replay gang. If you couldn't catch it in real time. And if you are just now joining me, Smart Savvy was good. Peace and love to you. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up. I hope everybody catching this on the replay hits the thumbs up. I titled this video, Can Being Multi-Talented Feel Like a Curse or Be a Curse? Yeah, I think I wrote Be a Curse. Because that's how I was feeling today. That's the thought process that I was juggling, I guess is a word that I can use right there. How you feeling today, smart, savvy, and loved? Savvy, smart, and loved? Smart, savvy, and loved. I hope you had a great day today. It's hump day. And I hope you got to see the Northern Lights. I hear that they were shining for most of the country today who don't get to see them, even for those of us in the South. That's what's up. I'm feeling pretty good too, man. I have had a very long day, but I made some shmoneys. And I was walking through this warehouse that I've been working at, and I was like, man, if this was my warehouse, like if I was on the board of directors of this company, or if I was a CEO or like, just the general manager, vice president, whatever the fuck, somebody with real power, I was like, man, I would fire so many people. I was like, because I feel like I could do this all by myself. Like the way they run it, the place that I'm working at, it's not rocket science, but there's a lot of ineptitude. Is that the word? Ineptitude? Oh shit, I got 4 people in here. Well, 6 now. 4 people, and 4 people I hit thumbs up. So it must be the fam. What's up? What's up? What's up? It was too cold. Yeah, it was brick outside this morning. At least it was like 32 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Mrs. Jones, thank you for staying with me for the little bit of time that you have. Whatever time you could spare, I appreciate it. How you feeling today? Do you all have thoughts on? Well, I'm sure you're talented in something, but do you feel like your talent in some way and not like succeeding in whatever it is what talent you have has kind of hurt you in a way? I feel like sometimes us as artists, because I'm sure we all are artists in some shape, form, or fashion, if we don't express that art becomes sort of a poison in a way. Can you agree with that? What say you? What say you, my loves? Yes, music. Come on, get to the music, fam. Oh, just, you know what I want you to do. Thank you. Maybe we'll just let them do their thing. And then at some point, nah, I don't even like that. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Reba NJ was good. Ask away. It was 35 in my part of Florida. Oh, Savvy and Loved, you're in Florida? I didn't know you were in Florida. What part of Florida are you in? How come I feel like we've never discussed this. I usually do good remembering where people are at in the world. Real estate with Carrie was good. Let's all elaborate on our talents and how us not being able to fully grasp or express our talent to the massive public. Does it hurt at all during your daily life when you're just living, you're just going about your day, doing your numbers, doing what you got to do to survive? Because I feel like we all doing, we got to do what we got to do to survive, else we not gonna. All right, here comes the music. Here comes the music. Oh, and the first song is called Ends Don't Meet. Wow. Talk about synchronicity. Mrs. Jones, I think you form great sentences. um, oh, Palm Coast. Okay, you about like an hour down the road, fam. Where I got my Mercedes was from the Palm Coast. So I was driving through your neighborhood and didn't even know it. Um, so I'm just gonna read a little bit of what I wrote about this whole feeling, because I came home and I wrote as much as I could because I knew I wanted to jump on this live before I got too late. I'm starving and I want to eat. Smart Savvy, what's good? Let's get together one of these days. If you up to it, come up to the Ville. I don't know what's going on in the Palm Coast. We could hit up St. Augustine. There's a lot to do out there in St. Augustine. What you jealous about, Ms. Jones? You want me to send you that flight? Where you at? You in Chicago, right? Yeah, I think that would be dope. I'm not against it. It's all about community, man. Like community in the digi realm, and I'm always talking about we can meet up. I'm never against meeting up. I'm not shy like that. Don't you? I mean, y'all don't really know who I was before I did all of this YouTube stuff, but like organizing physical meetups in the park was my thing. Like I would do that if I had the space to right now. Like I felt like my whole time and energy is dedicated to the accumulation of finances at the moment. But I could definitely set aside some time, a weekend, you know. We can triangulate the distance so it's convenient for everybody, and we could get together. Yeah. Signed up for the walking tours at St. Augustine. Yeah, I'm down for that. I've driven through there a bunch of times, and I noticed they have like these old Spanish forts that you can go visit. Facts. Even though I'm not really interested in hearing the history of colonial colonization, but Martin Luther King visited St. Augustine. I'm pretty sure it was St. Augustine. They used to have like big marches through there. Jacksonville, St. Augustine, this whole portion of Florida used to be really segregated, so there's a lot of that history. This time of the year is the Night of Lights. Fort Mose, I never even heard of that. Miss Jones, I'm not gonna let you be quiet. I've known you on this channel for as long as I've had this channel. I'm gonna be all up in your ear. All up in your ear, like, what's up with you? Trying to figure out who you really are. Not gonna let you, I mean, because I'm the same way. I'm introverted, but if somebody talks to me, I will talk. Oh, Fort Moses in St. Augustine, okay. I bet. So next time you come through Florida, Mrs. Jones, we will make sure that we capitalize on that opportunity. You heard? Don't sleep. So let me read a little bit about what I wrote about. Is being multi-talented a curse? It's a thought that hit me today. The weight of too many gifts. Sometimes being talented feels like a blessing wrapped in a curse. I've always felt like I'm so good at so many things: poetry, music, writing, thinking in general, creating. Yeah, I haven't hit that big breakthrough. You know what I mean? And I'm 40, son. And I still feel like I'm waiting for this moment of a potential payoff for all of the work that I've put in through all these years. So that begged the question of, is having so many lanes to move through a curse? I bet I will be in Florida at the end of January. I foresee myself being in Florida um, probably until like March or April. That's when if I had some wood, I would knock on it. I forecast myself having enough finances to go back to Columbus, Georgia, and get the apartment that I want. It needs to be a 3-bedroom, like I said. Hopefully, it's by the river, the Muskogee River. Is it the Muskogee or the Chattahoochee? I can't remember. One of those two rivers. I just know I gotta be by a river. I gotta be by a body of water. Ideally. But come through, Mr. Jones. Definitely let me know. You know I'm here every couple of days, so we'll be in touch. Yeah, God is listening all the time. I already know. All the time. Right, because if I believe that I am the embodiment of God, then everything that comes out of my mouth is out of the mouth of God. I know it sounds pretentious, but it is what it is. So when you have multiple gifts, sometimes it feels like you're confused and you don't feel clear. So when you're great at one thing, you go all in, but when you're good at 10 things, you ask yourself, which one do you go in on? I've got the book, I've got albums, poems, YouTube, content that's just waiting to be made. The fatherhood thing is paramount on the priority list. And also something that kind of fucks with me is like, I'm so talented, yet I live in squalor. And I feel like people, this is kind of something else that hit me today when I was working in the warehouse. I was like, if the managers of this warehouse are so inept, they're still managers of this warehouse. So imagine like having that thought and then thinking about all the people who are like really successful, or not really, just successful, period, who are like just living life well and not struggling. They might be inept too. They might be fucking inept. So at least they're not in squalor. So shout out to those people for keeping the bar low for people like me. It's an easy entry. And I feel like multi-talented people don't fail because they're lazy, but they fail because choosing feels like sacrificing all the other gifts that they have. So they kind of feel like they're behind and just not seizing every opportunity, every moment till its fullest capability. But what actually is happening, which is the same thing that happens in the stock market a lot, is something called accumulation. Like, you know how stocks go up and down, they rise and they fall. But there's other times when stocks go sideways and they get really choppy. And what traders call that is accumulation. So I feel like that's this phase that I'm in right now, even though this phase has been decades long. So, yeah. So this accumulation phase has consisted of becoming a father, losing a home, financial pressures, relationship heartbreaks, jobs I really don't want, creative frustration, searching for like a spiritual home, But these experience, I have to remember that these experience provide texture for the creativity, where you can't write certain things at 20 compared to the things that you can write at 40. You need scars to write certain bars. So God didn't give me gifts to separate, but to stack. It's not about looking at all my talents as separate lanes that I can travel down. I have to start looking at the different numerous talents as things to stack on to each other. So YouTube is one of the perfect places for that, I feel like, and that's why I'm so consistent here. And I love doing YouTube. So it's not that being multi-talented is a curse. It's more like the curse is trying to separate. The curse, if there is one, is trying to separate the gifts where they're meant to be fused. So YouTube, like I said, is that one outlet that can fuse those talents. The poetry becomes voiceovers, the music becomes background tracks, the storytelling becomes vlogs, the critical thinking becomes the fuel for the commentary. Love becomes the fatherhood content. The writing becomes the scripts and descriptions. The philosophy, it becomes an entire book. It becomes consistent live streams that I do every couple of days here. And all of that puts it, if you amalgamate all those things, it becomes my unique creative style. Oh, why do they repeat those songs 4 different times? Anyway, let's turn the music up a little something. So that brings me to an origin story. Derek Warren, thank you always for coming through with the GGs, the super chats. Thank you, family. Appreciate you, my brother. Shout out to you out there in Hawaii. Which island are you on, by the way? Hawaii. As you can see, I titled this video, "Is Being Multi-Talented a Curse?" So I've said a few things. I'm not gonna backtrack. I'm gonna just keep going. So where I'm at in this part of the journal entry, the live stream about this whole theme, is how I feel like part of the reason why the inception of the thought that being multi-talented is a curse often stems from this feeling I have that I live in squalor. And the reason why I feel like that is because I live in like the hoodiest hood of all hoods. Like, not even when I lived in Yonkers, New York, did I hear gunshots go off almost like every night. Granted, it's been a couple of nights. And granted, I don't think people are actually getting shot at. I think people are just shooting their guns up into the air to, like, test them out maybe to see if they still work. But every hero's story, when you really think about it, starts off with a struggle. Like, people remember the mountain because they saw the climb. Like the hero's journey starts off, deep in the forest or like in some valley somewhere. Not so much a castle on a high mountain, if you will. And that's not punishment. It's a setup. Like, another thought that I had today that was pretty deep to me was like, the steps of this journey we call life can sometimes feel like a setback, but that setback is really a setup. Wow, this beat is intense. So yeah, so not a setback, but a setup. And this is going to be a story worth telling, when I'm sitting on the couch. of like, I don't know who does the late shows anymore. Is it Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel, something like that? You know, like Tyler Perry before he blew, he was homeless, you know, and he was homeless in his 30s, and he didn't start really doing much until his 40s. So I just turned 40. I just hit that milestone. It's not too late for me yet. It ain't too late for you. It ain't too late for me, baby. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep this faith alive. But I have so many stories to tell, like living in the hood, working jobs that are, I feel like, a belief beneath my level, the heartbreak that I've experienced throughout life recently, um, raising daughters in this time of uncertainty, feeling like I should be further. It's crazy how the word further is like very close to the word father. When you're a father, you have to go further. I wish my cousin Mike was here. My cousin Celestial, he goes off on the interrelation of those two words much better than I can. But that is all a setup, like I was saying, to reframe it. Hey, Mrs. Clayton, what's up, girl? Oh shit. Just gotta keep trucking. You said it, Mrs. Jones. There's no reason to give up hope, man. As long as you breathing, as long as you have your arms, your legs, and your head, there's always reasons to hope. Now, if you lose a leg or an arm or your head, then maybe not. Maybe the hope dies a little bit for good, permanently. But that's not gonna happen. I don't wish that. I know it's not gonna happen. I don't affirm the loss of limbs for any of us. So this curse that I speak of is not, it maybe stems from not choosing a focal point. And that brings me back to where I was at with this YouTube. Like, the YouTube is a great focal point to stack and fuse all of those different talents. And it's not like I'm directionless. It often stems from this feeling of being spread too thin. You don't need a new gift. You need a focal point. You know, a focal point. You ever learn how to do what's it called? When you're in art class and you're learning how to do box letters or just 3D art in general, you have to find that focal point and then like draw the invisible lines or the lines that you would later erase and have the words or the letters really pop out in that direction. That's what we're doing right now. We're finding the focal point, we're drawing our lines. Yeah, man. So this live stream, the whole purpose of me doing this was because I feel like I'm not the only one. Oh, Mrs. Clayton, we're talking about how being multi-talented can sometimes feel like a curse or a trap. That's what we're talking about today. And I just want to acknowledge that although I'm a late bloomer, late bloomers often hit harder than from people who get to bloom early in their journey. Like, I often listen to like 20-year-old rappers, and I'm like, wow, all these new rappers are talking about the same things that we've been hearing about forever and ever, and we call rap this like young man's game. But what the game really needs is somebody with some experience. You gotta have the scars if you want to have the bars. You know what I mean? That's what I keep saying. That's what I keep telling myself. And who better, like, the illest thing about rap is like it's a musical form of being a griot, like a storyteller. So you need experience to really speak to these stories. So it's not like I'm behind, I'm in incubation. My gifts aren't waiting for opportunity, they're just waiting on me. Some of our destinies need us to grow into the kind of person that can hold that success. If I was really meant to peak at 20, then I probably would have never made it to 40. I feel that often. And the breakthrough is just on the other side of consistency. So tonight is a shift. Every day for the past few months has been a shift. And I'm getting closer. We're all getting closer. Derek Warren says, talents can attract good or bad people to you. That's what I would say is a curse. Jealousy or people desiring you or your talent. I agree with that, Mr. Warren. I agree with that. I've actually lived that a bunch of times. Just, being in the wrong circles with people. Or who's to say that those are wrong circles? They're just lessons that I needed to learn. Samuel L. Jackson started in his 40s, right? Being behind is an interesting way of looking at things. I feel like that way too, but everyone's journey is different. It's not hard, but it's not hard to compare. Yeah, comparison is such an easy thing to fall into. Love McNeil. My 20s was wild as well. Tell us about your 20s, love. Lessons to be learned, indeed. Facts, actual factuals. So, one phrase that I've been saying a lot lately is, how does it go again? It has something to do with consistency. Consistency is the finish. What have I been saying? Consistency is the finish. Commitment is the start. There we go. Commitment is the start. Consistency is the finish. So let this live stream be a shift for all of us if you're tuning in. Shanika, what's good, girl? Yeah. Lucky Day. I didn't even know Lucky Day was in his 40s. Wow. Yeah. So I'm stacking the talents. Consistency in the content, the book that's coming out, all these vlogs that are gonna get dropped at one point or the other, and letting these gifts work together instead of against each other. Like, oh, I gotta pick one or the other. I can't have all these different lanes. So being multi-talented isn't a curse. It's being a sleeping giant, if you will. And that's that. That was my journal entry on being multi-talented, feeling like it's a curse. And I just wanted to share that with you all. Thank you for listening to my spiel. That is the live stream for tonight. We could talk. I'm all yours, like all ears. I give you all the floor. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. I shot my shot. Yeah, I hope they don't have to go through the pain that we do, but I know everybody has their journey, one way or the other. It's 3:33. Where you at? Yo, Mrs. Clayton, I heard them Northern Lights are gonna be crazy. We even in Florida is expected to see them. I mean, you probably get to see them all the time, so it's probably not as special to you, but they're special to me because I haven't yet to see them. And I did see a little bit of like a colorful sky, but not like a dual or triple colored sky tonight. Oh, the 50-year mortgage. When I read the headline, I was like, man, that might be a good idea because, on the surface, it seems like a good idea because instead of having to pay a whole mortgage in 30, you get 50 years to pay it off. To me, it kind of made sense, but I started to see a lot of people were against it. And I I really don't know why. I do not know why. But it makes sense to me. I think maybe the people who have something against it feel like instead of because they're looking at it like is you're being locked into a contract for 50 years instead of 30. But the whole purpose of home ownership or having a mortgage, like they're giving you that amount of time to pay it off. But ideally, you would never wait 30 years to finish your mortgage off. You would you would pay it all off as fast as you could in my world at least. I hear a really good way to avoid the interest payments is to pay your mortgage twice in 1 month. You pay it on the first with the interest, you pay it on the 15th again, and that goes directly to the principal, and that saves you a lot of money on the interest. That's what I've heard. I was at a gas station one time. You know how when you pumping gas, sometimes the screen comes up with, and like they spit some game to you. I was pumping gas one day, and that's what the lady said, and I was like, that was a great idea. Thank you for that. I stayed up watching them and taking pics. It was like 9 degrees out. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, so the reason why northern lights are even a thing is because of something called a coronal ejection, or basically a solar flare. And the reason why you guys see them up there up north is because that's where the magnetic poles are. So you constantly get to see it. But we're the past 2 days, and I think even tomorrow, they're expecting mass solar flares to hit the earth, which for me is more than just a solar flare. A solar flare is like information. It's DNA upgrades, it's paradigm shifts. So there's something special going on in the world right now for us as humans, and I'm here for it. I love that it's happening while we're alive. Big shifts are happening. I was at the gig that I work, and like the manager that's in charge of the things that I do was telling me that the director of the warehouse like really appreciates my work ethic and my attention to detail. So he was kind of alluding to the fact that there may be a hiring situation happening soon. And I was happy to hear it because I could use the consistency. The warehouse is only 3 miles from my house, so I could literally walk if I wanted to. And hopefully like a bump in pay comes with that. And that would be really dope. And it would be right on time for the holidays, like Christmas is coming and I want to I have like a dual personality when it comes to Christmas because on one hand I'm not like a pro consumer. I don't want to raise consumeristic, if that's the word, or consumer centered children, triple C's. I don't want triple C's. I don't want consumer centered children. But at the same time, I love giving Aura that feeling of like, yo, Santa was here. You did your thing this year. Like, here's all these gifts. I remember that feeling when I was growing up, like coming downstairs, seeing all these gifts that were not there, the day before. So, yeah, I'm welcoming all the abundance. I'm welcoming all the fucking abundance. So, Aura's gonna have a dual Christmas this year. She's gonna have a Christmas with her mom and a Christmas with me. And she's already kind of like being angsty about having to come to Florida for Christmas because she loves her home. She loves her room. She loves her familiarity. She loves her animals. So in a way, I'm sad about it, but at the same time, it's the best that I could do, man. It's the best I could do. And I keep selling her this idea of having two Christmases. Of course, it should. You would think a kid is gonna go for that. Oh, Lou was good. Matt deGrasse Tyson. Yo, yo. Oh man, it's not easy now because the cost of buying a house is so high. But I heard the 1 extra payment a year can cut the time in half. Oh yeah, that's a fact. I mean, it makes mathematical sense. If they're expecting one payment for 30 years and you give them two payments a month, Absolutely. And you, like I said, with doing that, you skip a lot of that interest that's added on. So I'm all for it, man. And that's it with anything that we do. We go into these endeavors of these financial contracts, and even if it's just a car, they're like, yo, you got this long to pay off this car. And we're like, damn, like we look at it like, yo, I'm gonna have to be paying this off for this long. But ideally, everybody's financial situation improves. Like we never want the financial. I know we're all used to it. At some point, we've experienced it. So at some point of our lives, where like finances they get worse. They don't get better. But in a perfect world, finances are always getting better, and I affirm that for everybody, for you, for me, for everybody, and not in the live right now. I hope everybody finances get better. Fucking Elon Musk said that when his robots are finally done, that they're gonna eliminate poverty somehow. I don't know how. The fucking robots are projected to be like 30 grand, which will probably end up being 50, because I remember when he was coming out with Tesla in the very beginning, he said the Teslas were gonna be affordable, and all of them shits were unaffordable. Shanika says, right, with my kids we call it giving day, and they get like 3 presents each max. That's what's up. I feel like Aura's so spoiled right now. So spoiled, yo. And I'm gonna digress off of that before I say something that I might regret. But that was never my intention. I do want her to be spoiled, but at the same time, like crying shouldn't get you what you want just because you're crying about it. Like you need to understand that. Crying is not the way to achieve things. It doesn't work like that in the real world. Like every time I take Aura to the store, I literally have to have a big ass talk with her on the way to the store. And as we're looking for a parking spot before we go in the store, I'm like, yo, this is what we're doing. We're not doing anything else. Like you can look, you can touch, we can talk about it, but I do not want I don't want the cries. And that's often what ends up happening. I mean, she got good with me, but I'll leave it. I digress. It's so booty, Shanika. You already know. Yeah, me too, man. I wish, but it will. It's gonna get better. I just have to be up there. It's hard to co-parent the way I want to when I live 5 hours away. You know, if I'm there every day, I have more of a say, literally. Like, um, but we're working on it. We're getting there. You said it, Mrs. Clayton. I definitely want Aura to believe in that magic. Like we're still feeding her the Santa Claus story, and not like she thinks, if I really grasp her understanding of Christmas, she thinks that Santa brings her gifts, and she also thinks that like her family members bring her gifts as well. But this year is the first year that she's actually going to get her own gift for her sister, which is important. So, because I was already talking to her, I was like, you keep telling me what you want for Christmas. What do you go? What I was like, what are you gonna get Lumi for Christmas? And she had some ideas, so I was like, all right, that's what's up. I'm happy it wasn't like a foreign thought to her. Like she had never even thought about that. She's really a sweet girl. Give it, provided she has the space to be sweet. Peace to you, Rachel. I hear you saying that you're trying to figure out how you'll co-parent with someone who refuses to be in the same room with you. Mind you, you have a newborn. Yo, that's deep and heavy, and I affirm that y'all both figure that out. Um, I hope the universe, God, whatever you believe in, sways your heart to open that space to find that understanding, whatever that whatever has to happen for that understanding to manifest itself. Um, the way I read your comment, it sounds like you have the understanding, but your partner doesn't have the understanding because they refuse to be in the same room with you. So, I always say advice is the worst vice, and you shouldn't take it from people. But I'm going to go ahead and unsolicitedly um, offer you some, which would be just asking the question of what would it take for your partner to co-parent in a positive way with you, and really listen to their answer. And when they give you the answer, before you defend yourself or deflect, because you might feel like you have a lot to defend or deflect to, or to turn it around on them and be like, but you just like this book that I'm reading by John Gatto, I think his name is. Oh my God, I don't remember his name right now, but it's called Raising an Emotionally Intelligent Child. This dude is a super expert like on child psychology and relationship therapy. And in reading the book, I'm starting to realize that the way we speak to children is also the way we should speak to our partners. By first, like, so basically, what I'm telling you is treat your partner like a child, not in like a condescending way, but in a way where they say something and you first want to identify where that emotion is coming from, because maybe they're not coming out and saying, this is making me sad, or this is making me angry, or this is making me disappointed, or this is frustrating to me. So if they say something like, yo, to use your words, I can't be in the same room with you, and you ask them why, and then they tell you why, and you say, yo, I hear that you're frustrated, or you're disappointed, or you're upset, or you're angry, and like go from there. Like keep them in the center of what it is the discourse is about, and then like kind of you gotta kind of have to wait your turn to make it about you. I hope that helps, but that's what I got. But I affirm that y'all will work that out. Hopefully your partner is mature enough to understand that your happiness is also the child's happiness. So to keep his child happy is to keep you happy as well. So y'all got this. I believe in both of you. um Mrs. Clayton says it was a hard choice, but we paid rent for 12 years, and adding that up, we bought a house for our landlord. That's a fact. But you didn't really have to, I mean, at the same time, you didn't have to, I mean, hopefully you didn't have to shell out payments for like plumbing problems if you ever had them, for paint issues, or like property damages, shit like that. I guarantee you that all landlords in all of the land make their tenants pay pay for everything that they should have to shoulder, which sucks. But yeah, the reason why I'm okay with getting an apartment before I actually buy a house, because I don't want the headache of building, like going through this transition right now, trying to build up my relationship with my daughters and co-parenting and all of that, and have to worry about leaky pipes, and have to worry about like a roof that may be damaged, or like basic fucking renovations and shit. So I'll be okay with paying rent for a while, but the end goal definitely is to have multiple houses. And then after I have multiple houses, and I have the time, space, and wherewithal and finances, I will buy multi-family homes, and then I will be a landlord. I will be the best fucking landlord to ever landlord in the landlord game. All right, Mrs. Jones, thank you for coming through as always. Much love to you, my love. I forgot where you said you were from again, but wherever you're at, be safe, stay dangerous. You already know. You got your gummy machine today, bumping up your edible. That's what I'm talking about, Miss Clayton. Let's go. Them edibles is too good from what I've heard. Those edibles is too good to not be making gummies. You heard? You on it. Everybody loves a good gummy. I love a good gummy. Even though y'all know that I don't the edibles don't be working on me. But I love gummy anything. Just for the for the taste, the snack of it. My grandfather dressed up every year and rang the bells as he walked out of the house, just as we got a glimpse. Oh, that's what's up. Mr. Clayton, I love y'all family. Y'all really be putting it in. Oh, Happy is here. What's good? Somebody wasn't working the double shift today, or maybe she did, but she had time. Happy was good. What you love? How's it been? The book, Rachel, the book is called Raising an Emotionally Intelligent Child. I believe the last name of the author is Gatto, Gatto. Matter of fact, I could do you one better than that. I have two computers on me. One is handheld. Let me go to Raising an Emotionally Intelligent Child. John Gottman, excuse me, not John Gatto, John Gottman. It's a fucking fantastic book. I love it. I read it every fucking day when I get a chance to. John Gottman is the fucking man. I will say that. And he's actually like a relationship psychologist, but when he had his daughter, what was her name? His daughter's name is Mariah. He started to get into child therapy, and it's fucking amazing. Like I said, it has not only been helping my relationship with Aura, it has been helping my relation or my understanding or my approach to relationships in the future. Like when people are having any type of airing out of their feelings or grievances, or they want to have a certain amount of discourse about whatever, I know how to navigate that conversation way better. I thought I was good at it already, mind you. But there's always room for improvement, which is kind of the whole theme of this live. I titled this live is being multi-talented a curse. And it's it's about finding a focal point instead of feeling like I'm spreading myself too thin, instead of feeling like if I open this door, I'm closing all the other doors. It's about fusing what my talents are. It's about finding ways to improve how to encompass all of those talents into that focal point. Mrs. Clay says, I left that house way better than I got it. I know because y'all the Jimmy Jazz Jam. Degrassi Junior High. Yeah. No double shift today. I'm glad I got to make it to your live. Me too. I was thinking about you too. Before I started, I was thinking about. I was like, yo, I hope she. I want you to get your money, of course. But I was like, I haven't seen you in here for like a couple of weeks, so and you family. So whenever we do these family get-togethers, even though they do happen like 3 or 4 times a week, and I don't get to see every member of the family, I'm like, what's going on? But since we have good communication, I know why you're not present, and it's not because you just decided to hate me one day. So yeah, that being said, I just wanna say shout out to you for joining this video, clicking on this live. You could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us tonight. If you enjoy critical thought, if you love freedom, if you love seeing a grown 40-year-old get it out the mud, if you love dad vlogs, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you've resonated with anything that has been said thus far, please hit the thumbs up. And on the flip side of that, because I do notice that I have some of these people, not to say that anybody is here in the live, but sometimes on the replays, when I go read the comments, I feel like there's a certain amount of And it's always women who just hate men. They hate baby daddies. So they expose themselves as haters. So I just want to take some time to say that if that is you, feel free to hit the unsubscribe. Feel free to start your own YouTube channel. Feel free to get a life. And I digress. That's my spiel. I researched edibles not working on people, and there's up to 30% don't get high when eating edibles. So it's possible, but I'm still gonna send you something. I would appreciate that. For some reason, Mrs. Clayton, I believe in you. I believe that your edibles are going to be the ones that work out of all the people who swore up and down that they were the special chosen ones whose edibles were going to work on me. I don't know if it's because you're in Alaska and constantly under the exposure of the solar flares that are the northern lights. And, we have this deep personal connection already. It's like it's going to manifest the desired outcome that we both want. So thank you for that. Thank you for always looking out for me too as well. Thank all of you for looking out for me. If you are here and you're present and you're typing, you are looking out. That's what's up, Mrs. Clayton. You've been showing your 11-year-old grandson with ADHD how to meditate and do breath work. It has helped so much. I already know that is the truth because it has helped. I don't feel like I have ADHD, but I definitely can get distracted easily. Um, that's another thing about being multi-talented is like when you're multi-talented, it's easy to distract yourself or feel like you are wasting your time while you are expressing, while you are participating in one of those talents. You're like, your brain is like, but what about the other thing? And you're like, yeah, what about that thing? And like, you don't put 100% into the one thing. But presence is so powerful that people, it's so heavily slept on. We can't get enough of presence. And that's why I end each one of these lives with that prayer. Presence is one of the most important P's in that prayer. That's just what people do, Mrs. Clayton. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. If that wasn't the case, the world wouldn't be. I don't even. I was about to say the world wouldn't be the shit can that it is because the world is not a shit can. The world is fucking amazing. There's amazing people in it, but it's very easy to have the shittiness of the world in the forefront. You know, especially with the media. Like, what do they call it? They have a term for it where it's just like if it if it stimulates the nervous system out of fear, then they promote it. If it's like stimulating in the way where it makes you feel good about yourself or empowering yourself, they don't air it. It's just it's something about the way the handlers, I want to say, like I that's why I try to come on here with good news all the time. Cause we need to hear the good news, man. We need to hear the fucking good news. Speaking of that, let's see if we can pull some good news out of the internet today. Is there? Oh, I think I do have some good news saved in my notes already. Shoot. Oh, well, maybe it's on the phone I'm doing the live on. So, all right, but we can still pull it off the internet. All right, internet, go. Good news. Good news of the day. What do we got? It's always something happening in another country. It's usually not anything happening in America. Every time I pull up good news. Nandate. Okay, here's good news that happened in America today. There was a dog rescued from a Boston tunnel during rush hour after play. Okay, that's the title of this article is Dog Rescued from Boston Tunnel During Rush Hour After Playing Will I Won't I with Police. There's something truly wonderful about the sympathy we humans have for dogs, such that when a rambunctious stray grinds traffic to a halt in a Massachusetts tunnel, the reaction is just that, to stop and wait for police to rescue it. The wrong way rover was spotted foxtrotting along the side of the Ted Williams Tunnel in Boston during rush hour. The black and white jaywalker managed to avoid being splattered. Wow, who wrote this? Long enough for police to respond to the call of a good Samaritan who informed them about the tragedy waiting to happen. Surveillance video from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation shows several police cars and other motorists stopped in a staggered group as alights to policeman alights to try and coax the dog into the back seat. After a short game of Will I Won't I, the dog hops in the car and traffic flow resumed unimpeded. The police said that a notice was put out regarding the dog in the case that perhaps an owner might be looking for it. Shout out to the people of Boston for not killing the dog. And, I'm sure people are in a rush, especially if you're in a tunnel, you're kind of stuck in the tunnel, you don't want to stop. But when it comes to our four legged furry friends, you got to do what you got to do. You got into RC planes? That's what's up, Olu. I'm not mad at that. I was on TikTok the other day and this dude was selling a crap out of planes, or like RC planes. And it did look fun. Like I ended up watching his TikTok live for like 6 minutes while he was selling me this plane. But yeah, it's important that we find hobbies that we love to do that. Oh, that pup. The video. Oh, you you come on, fam. Uh, uh, we're on YouTube. Come on. There we go. Doop doop. There's the pup on the side of the road. There's the traffic jam. It wasn't that much of a traffic jam. That's not a traffic jam at all. Maybe it's just where the camera was set up. I would have tackled that dog. I would be like, come here. Oh, the dog got in there. Puppers. Gotta love a good pup. I miss my pups, man. Yo, Aura is slick too. Speaking of puppies, Aura is slick, yo. She keeps, and I love it. I love it. Because she keeps insinuating. She's like, yo, when are you gonna come hang out at the house? Like, don't, she was like, when are you gonna see the dogs? Like, can you hang out with me at my house? She keeps saying that. She's been saying, so that being said, I have been speaking to Aura like almost every day, which, by the way, what time is it? All right, I gotta end this live, so I can send her a voice note because usually she calls me right after the voice note. So I've been talking to her a lot more consistently, and almost every time I talk to her, she's like asking me if I'm gonna come to the house and hang out with her, and I find that so funny because um, when I went up there for Halloween, I asked her mother to come talk to me outside while she was in the room playing with her friends, and like we were whispering, so I know she didn't hear it. But I was like, "Yo, like, what is what's up? with you not letting me come to the house? Like, what's that about? And she keeps hanging on to this line like, oh, it's because I don't want to confuse Aura. I want her to know that my space is your space. I mean, my space is mine and your space is yours. I don't want to confuse her and think that you're moving in if you come visit. And I was like, do you hear yourself? I was like, yo, you make no sense. You think Aura is going to think that just because I visit, just because I drop her off or pick her up from where we used to live, where I used to live, that she's gonna think that I'm moving in. I was like, this narrative sounds like it's for you and it's not for her. And I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to say too much. But she said she would think about it. But I bring all of that up to say that every time I talk to her on a voice chat, and her mom is very close by, listening to what we're talking about, she's always asking me to come to the house now, and I'm like, I love that. Good for you. Good for you. Good on you, Aura. Let mom know that you know and understand just because I visit or drop you off or pick you up from the house, which means I also get to see my dogs, that you're not gonna think, oh, dad lives here now. So hopefully it works. Hopefully her mom comes to her senses and cuts the BS. Do I like to read books, Joshua? Of course. I love reading books. I read books all the time. And a blue nose and champagne pit that is the protector. Aw, pit bulls are such great dogs, man. Pit bulls, in a way, are different than other dogs and like how human they seem sometimes. Like they're so good at picking up on nuance. I don't know what it is about pit bulls. I know there are other dogs that are good at it too, like Labradors, but pit bulls are special in that way. And I'm sure you can imagine, Mrs. Clayton, what it would be like if not only did, no, I'm even not even gonna say that out loud, but you know what I mean? Like if you just couldn't be around your dog, how heartbreaking that would be. Yeah, exactly. That's what I say, Shanika. Thank you for that, Joshua. I appreciate that. I try to my best to not only appear and seem bright, but actually to be bright, to be the embodiment of all of the knowledge that I have. I mean, the brain is finite. You can only hold so much information and data, but at the same time, I have a larger head than most. So maybe I have a little bit more hard drive space. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Like I've been doing better at like being, I want to say, almost overtly kind to her mom, you know? Like even though I feel like I have a lot of reason not to be, I've been doing the opposite of that. So she can see that, both of them can see that I'm not letting that get in the way. Rachel, the book will definitely help if you work it. You gotta work it. Like definitely just don't get it and not read it. It's not even that long of a book, but read it and put it into practice. And it might feel like you're taking it on the chin for a while, you know? It may feel like you're eating sugar honey iced tea for a while. It kind of feels like that for me in this phase that I'm in right now. But if that's what it takes for all of us to be closer, somebody's got to fucking do it. And I'm older. I'm the oldest one in the whole dynamic. So let that be that. I'm also the man in the dynamic, so let that be that. And I've also had way more experience with hard times and tough times. Tough times don't last, tough people do. So yeah, let that be a motivation for you, Rachel. I feel that way too, Mrs. Clayton. Pit bulls are definitely special in the canine species. Daniel Berry was good. Happy Wednesday. Y'all gonna get that. Y'all gonna get that, Rachel. If that's what you want, I affirm that you will. Hopefully he gets his act together. We gotta um treat him like he will and not that he won't or he isn't. Like even when he isn't. Like I'm not asking you to be delusional, of course, but what I'm asking you is to like what you want him to be, you have to like almost manifest it for him. And it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna feel exhausting. It's gonna feel like you're taking it on the chin. You're gonna question why you are even having to go through this, which I'm sure you already are. But I think that's the best way to bring it out. You know, that's what I'm choosing to do. You got this, girl. Keep us updated. Keep us updated. Just so y'all know, I do these lives every couple of days. Every even day around 6:30 ideally. Sometimes I get home late and I just need to decompress a little bit before I hop on here and hold space the way that I want to. But these are always fun. These are my Jimmy Jams. I actually enjoy doing lives more than I like doing vlogs. But the vlogs nonetheless are on the way. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to go ahead and end this live with a prayer as I always do. Y'all ready? To the one of us that is many, we come to you in total awareness. Please grant my friends peace, progress, prosperity, patience, and persuasion, pleasure and panacea in this ever persistent present moment of now. Ashe, aho, amen, and like, and laken. All right, y'all. Love you. Till next time. To my guy Derek, if you're still in the chat, thank you so much for the consideration that you showed. Thank you, Mrs. Clayton, for all of the consideration that you have. Olu, thank you for my Buddha. Smart Savvy, thank you for all the consideration that you've shown in the past. Rachel, thank you for your presence. Mrs. Clayton, thank you for your consideration and your presence. I'll see y'all in a couple of days. Until then, take care of yourself and stay dangerous.